Welcome back to Washington Watch. I'm Tony Perkins. So glad to have you with us on this Thursday afternoon. Now, as I said before at the beginning of the program, we don't do this often, but focusing on one topic because I think it's a big topic. It's an important topic. It's about whether or not we're ready to open society up again. And we were just talking with Congressman Andy Biggs about the economy and getting the economy going again. We're going to talk with Congressman Roger Marshall a little later about the health risk. I mean, he's a medical doctor, actually been working with the COVID patients. But those two things are not mutually exclusive. And, you know, we're hearing all these polls that people are afraid. They don't want to go to work. Well, do they want to stay home? Or is there something in between here? And to find that answer, I reached out to the person I think is best at discerning what the American people are thinking, and that is my good friend Scott Rasmussen, Pollster and Publisher of ScottRasmussen.com, author and just a great all-around guy. Scott, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Well, Tony, it's great to be with you, but I must say it's a very strange time. I live in New York City, but for anybody in the nation, it's just hard to believe what we're going through.
It is, but, you know, I've kind of been conditioned with this in the last 20 years in the South where we've gone through natural disaster after natural disaster, and it's, you know, it's kind of stuff we read about in Scripture almost. I think we're seeing that unfolding before our eyes. And a lot of this is how we deal with it. As I've talked to a number of pastors and churches that are embracing the challenge. They don't like it, but they're embracing it. They're doing well. But I want to talk about the big question, is it time to reopen society? You've put forth a point that, look, I think the pollsters are asking the wrong question. We need to be asking something else. What is it?
Well, first off, you framed it better than most pollsters have and better than most political folks have. You're talking about reopening society, not just reopening the economy. You know, the way the storyline has unfolded, there was this pandemic, and for a brief period of time, people said, yes, we need to lock things down, stop this from spreading. And the presumption was that if we open up business, if we open up the economy, it's going to put lives at risk. It was a safety versus the economy risk. That's not really what we're with anymore. That's not the situation we have, because now we're seeing, on the one hand, there's been an increase in alcohol consumption and anti-anxiety medications and antidepressant medications. Reports of increased domestic violence. People are not exercising. These are real health risks. So the stay-at-home orders bring health risks too, just as much as going out in public. And at some point, the trade-off switches the other way. So we need to focus not just on the idea that going out is dangerous. It's a question of relative dangers, and there are certainly offsetting benefits. Tony, when we ask people what are the top priorities that you would like to do if somebody were to lift a lockdown order, what should come first? Well, not surprisingly, the answer is we'd like to go to our friends' houses. We'd like to get together with people. Mm-hmm. Number two on the list is to open up churches and religious services. People are looking for that community. And in all of this, though, we have to remember, you know, when we go to church or take part in any other activity after this pandemic, it's not going to be exactly like it was before. We are going to be more conscious of different safety concerns, and that's a good thing.
Well, that awareness changes behavior. And so, I mean, I've been saying, you know, you don't put people away in their homes for 40 days and not change their behavior and communicate to them that there is a big issue here in front of them. I mean, you know, God kept Moses on the mountain for 40 days and let him go. I'm sure that was a part of changing the way he was thinking. Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days. You know, I caution government to don't keep us much longer than that. But the issue here is I think behavior is going to change. And we've got to give enough latitude and freedom, in my view, to businesses, restaurants, churches to change their behavior to welcome people back into their doors.
Absolutely. You know, this is the way America works. Everybody has a role to play in governing society. When they open up restaurants in our city here, some people will be excited and run right out the door, but many are going to hold back, and they're going to wait for the restaurant owners to demonstrate that it's safe, that maybe the tables aren't quite as close together as they used to be, or maybe some other steps have been taken. And by the way, those restaurant owners are also going to have to convince their employees that it's safe to come back to work. So tapping into that will be an important part of it. And that's something that, again, it's not just the responsibility of our political leaders to flip a switch and say, let's go. This is going to be a process where we collectively will learn how to behave in this new environment. And Tony, there's one other part to this, and something I've been writing about. This change, this 40 days of being stuck at home or stay at home, comes after 4 decades of trying to deal with a digital revolution that has changed the way we communicate, changed the way we exchange information. And what's happened in the last month or so is a lot of people have been forced to deal with it in ways they never expected to. Older people are using Zoom for the first time. Tens of millions of parents are homeschooling for the first time. These are changes not just in our daily behavior, but they're forcing us to come to grips with this new technology that we've been wrestling with for decades. And I think that is going to have a profound impact on what happens next.
I agree 100%. I mean, it takes 18 to 21 days to form a habit. If you're talking about 40 days, you've changed people's habits and the way they see life. Yes. And when you combine that with a traumatic experience, being laid off, losing a job, financial insecurity, it has an even more significant impact upon one's view of life in the world. So I think we're in for some substantial change. And, I would ask you as a pollster, do you think Americans are ready for that?
Absolutely. Look, nobody likes change. We like with the end result of change, but we don't like the transition.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it. We need to be safe, and we need to work.
I agree, and I think that's what, in part, makes America an exceptional nation. We've done it before. We'll do it again. If the politicians will, it's going to happen one way or the other, regardless. Scott Rasmussen, thanks so much for joining us. Always great to talk with you.
Thank you, Tony.